Ravens fans, he's back. Now, I know what you're thinking. You might not be the most excited about this news because how his tenure in Baltimore was, but I'm about to give you some reasons to be very excited about Yannick Ngakoue coming back to Baltimore. The Ravens made it official today, and we'll dive right into it. But before we do, you got to hit the subscribe button, okay? You have to. I know for a fact we're the first ones doing a video on YouTube. At least first ones doing a video that looks this good on YouTube. And this is just what happens. Breaking news, we make a video. Hit that subscribe button. Stay by the channel. Best place to be for anything surrounding your Baltimore Ravens. Let's get into it. Adam Schefter tweeting out today, more pass rush help on the way. Ravens are bringing back defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, who last played in Baltimore in 2020 per source. The 29-year-old Ngakoue has 69 nice career NFL sacks. Now, before you hear from me, I'd love to hear from you guys. What is your one-word reaction to this signing? Just give me one word, okay? You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. So to make that time go by faster, go down to the comment section, find this pinned comment, and reply to it for me with your one-word reaction. My one-word reaction, nice, right? Add the question mark on there. I'm not just saying nice because the 69 sacks, but because I guess this is something that kind of surprised me. I didn't think pass rusher after these first 3 games was necessarily where we were going to go. But when you add a player like Ngakoue, you got to think that's a good addition. When you look at his statistics over the last 4 years, he's had some really, really great seasons. 2020 to 2021 to 2022, 3 straight seasons with 8 or more sacks. And I know you're thinking, Joey, he was here in 2020. He wasn't that great. Well, he played for 2 teams. That's why those numbers are so high. But you talk about his time in Baltimore. The fans aren't the only ones who didn't think it went as smooth as it could have, because Yannick Ngakoue also kind of agrees with that fact. He said this a while back, I feel like in Baltimore, I wasn't utilized in the right way. That rotation was kind of ugly for me. Pass rushers need rhythm. You have to have multiple players to set up moves. And I felt like I didn't really have that there. And he's not wrong. That was in the Martindale days. And then, of course, McDonald's gone. But now you got Zach Orr in there. And I think that is what excites me the most about this signing. Is he said it himself. He wasn't utilized the right way in Baltimore. Well, now you got a guy coaching him that not only is qualified enough to be a defensive coordinator in an NFL team, but has played professional football. A guy who knows what it's like to be out on the field. A guy who knows what it's like to be in a rotation, whether it's one that he likes or not. So I think with Zach Orr being the head to this defense, I think it's going to make Yannick Ngakoue's time in Baltimore a little bit more sweet than it was last time, right? A little bit smoother than it was last time, because I think he's going to fit right in with this rotation. I think this is a defensive line that we know the horses that we got, right? You know the rotations that you got. And now I think this is just a plug-and-play scenario. Now let's talk about the defensive line for just a second, because this is what added the question mark for me. This is why it was nice instead of nice, because they have performed really well so far this year, in my opinion. And I think coming into this year, a lot of people were nervous with how this defensive line was going to do, right? Because you lose a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, 9.5 sacks last year. You lose a key piece like that. Even Patrick Queen. I know he's not a defensive end or not on that defensive line, but he's a guy who can get sacks. And then this year, so far, in these first 3 weeks, pretty solid outings by this defensive line, right? 2 sacks, 7 QB hits against Kansas City. 5 sacks, 10 QB hits against Las Vegas. 3 sacks, 7 QB hits against Dallas. And so this is why it kind of confuses me, because I think if it was me making the move, I think there's other ways I would go, right? I think I would maybe get some offensive line help, and I know those don't grow on trees. But I think maybe the secondary is something that needs to look at. But at the end of the day, man, I think this is still a great move, right? I think Yannick Ngakoue can only be an addition to this team. We're going to get into more about Yannick, but I just got to remind you again, guys, this is the best place to be in all of YouTube for any Baltimore Ravens coverage. We get a video every single day. And the cool thing is, if you're just now tuning in, we go live for every single game all season long. So hit that subscribe button. Also, I don't want anybody to hear this, but it's 100% free. All free, okay? No charge. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's talk a little bit more about the skill set that he brings, because I know he's had a long career, right? He's been in the NFL for a long time, but he has been such a fantastic pass rusher for his entire career. And I think that's what this team might need, because outside of Kyle Van Noy and outside of Odafe Oweh, I don't know if there's a guy on this team that his number one strength is getting to the quarterback. And I think that's what you've got in a guy like Yannick Ngakoue, right? He's able to get to the quarterback. He's able to disrupt things. And when we talked about the defensive weaknesses through these first couple weeks, the pass defense is a big one, right? And so you might be thinking, okay, that just comes with secondary, right? You got to get some more secondary pieces. But in my opinion, that starts with the defensive line, right? It starts with getting to the quarterback. It starts with making an opposing quarterback's life just absolute hell. And Yannick has been doing that his whole career. And again, I know you're probably a little bit jaded from how his time went the last time he was in Baltimore. Only 3 sacks in his tenure with the Ravens. But man, he's a different player. This team is a different team. There's a different defensive coordinator. There's different defensive options on the defensive line and at linebacker. This is a whole new thing, right? It's not just a rerun of the 2020 season, okay? And so it's not going to look the same. And that's a good thing, right? Because he's going to help out more. He's going to be in a better rotation. He's going to be able to get to the quarterback more than he did. And at the end of the day, like I said earlier, man, you returned a lot of your pass rush from last year, but you didn't return all of it, right? Jadeveon Clowney leaving still left a massive gap in this defense, right? And we've seen it in years past with Houston and Clowney last year. Eric DeCosta, John Harbaugh, they like to bring in more veteran pass rushers to fill in those gaps, and they didn't do that this offseason. I think a lot of people wanted them to, and now they're doing it now. And you might ask yourself, okay, is it absolutely necessary? No, I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I don't think this is going to be season changing. But you can't complain about a guy getting added to your team that's had 69 sacks in his career. You just can't. That's an addition no matter what. And so I'm happy with it, right? If I'm giving it a grade, I think I'm rocking with like A-. But I want to hear from you guys, right? Because that's the great thing about this channel is you don't just hear from me. I get to hear from you guys as well. So grade the signing for me. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. You can use pluses or minuses. I'm not that stingy. But let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Exciting news, breaking news, always fun to happen in Baltimore. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be back again tomorrow, so join me then.